Hi guys, Joe Wolverton, Teacher of Liberty. Going to tell you a little bit more about Germania. I hope you've been watching these videos. I get so excited, I'm like, I don't want to go 5 minutes, but I don't want to go 20 minutes and have you all miss out on stuff. So I've divided these up, hoping you'll watch these short little blasts about Germania. All right, so this week, today, I'm going to talk to you about how they went to war. Tacitus said they were so invincible, they were so strong. What made them so in war? What particular things did they do in war that made them so powerful, so good at it, right? So often defeating the Romans, okay? So I'm going to read you the first quote that he talks about the way they went to war, all right? Here we go. You ready? First quote. They divide their army into distinct battalions, formed to a point in front as a wedge. When ordered to retreat in battle, they obey, knowing that that order was given out of wisdom and not fear. All right, so can you picture it? He says, when they went to war, they divided themselves up into separate battalions, each one of about 100 people, all relatives, remember, all relatives, sons, brothers, uncles, all together. And they formed themselves, he says, into a wedge. And at the tip of that, let's just call it a spear, right? At the tip of that spear was their king, their oldest person who was still of fighting age, their most experienced, their most virtuous, and he stood at the tip. And your safety came from being inside that wedge. Your safety came, you were going to follow the man at the tip of the spear. You were going to stay inside that spear, and inside that spear, and the wedge would move into battle, and they would win most all the time. Now, there's some really good analogies there. I'm sure you can see it. They knew that if the guy at the tip said, let's go, they went into battle. If he said, nope, we're not doing this, they knew that wasn't fear in that man, because he had experience. He had virtue. He wasn't afraid. They knew that that was wisdom, him saying, we need to retreat to be able to fight again another day. So I would think, who is the tip of your spear? Who are you relying on to urge you into battle or say, you know what, maybe we don't take this on? I would say church leaders, but I would say at the first rank is your father. I think about this time that so many people are, for whatever reason, quarantining themselves at home, and we are having school at home, thank heaven, finally, and we're having church at home, also enjoy that. Think about this. Take time to look at your father, the tip of your spear. If you don't have a dad in the home, your mom, if she's a single mother, take time to look and see, realize what hard choices that he or she makes, and recognize that who you have leading you. Be so happy. And when that person says, look, sweetheart, I don't think you can handle this, know that they're not doing that because they don't love you or they have fear. They're doing it out of wisdom and trying to protect you. I think of the tip of the spear for me personally is Russell Nelson. When he tells me, we got this, I'm staying right in the center of that wedge and I'm following him. When he says, guys, there are these things that you shouldn't get involved with. Don't do it, it's too strong. I know he's not afraid. I know he's wise and taking care of me. And I don't try to confront those things that he has warned me. He's the tip of the spear. I stay safely in that wedge, because what happens? You think you're smarter than the guy at the tip of the spear, and you go outside the wedge, they got you. The enemy's got you. Your safety comes from staying in the wedge. Stay in the wedge, guys. Trust that tip of your spear. Choose who you take. When you get married, choose very well. Young women, choose very well who'll be the tip of that spear, right? And that's a guy you've got to be able to rely on, so make sure you do that. Let's go to another quote. So safety is in that wedge, right? Beautiful, beautiful. All right, but go outside that wedge and you have no promise, if you know what I'm saying. All right, let's take another quote, shall we? All right. They choose their kings from among their kindred, and the kings are chosen for their virtue and splendor. The authority of their kings is neither unlimited nor arbitrary. Their generals procure obedience not by command or force, but by the power of their exemplary behavior. Who is in charge? Who's in charge? The most virtuous among them. Many of you are my students, you'll remember the deal. The kings are first chosen for their virtue, but pretty soon who did we want? We wanted that raging catfish, right? We wanted an armor. We wanted a guy who could promise us, I'm going to take it to him. We're going to be the most powerful. We're going to take over kingdoms. The Germans are like, no, we want the guy who's the most virtuous, because he will always be courageous, because virtue and courage are the same. So they chose their kings for his virtue. And what did he say? Never unlimited or arbitrary, meaning whatever he said. No. The king was the king so long as he stayed being worthy of that title. It's like Trenchard and Gordon said, the king never breaks the law. Why does he never break the law? Because the minute he breaks the law, guess what he isn't? The king. And you owe him no obedience. So here Tacitus is saying, the king was the most virtuous. They elected him, but that didn't give him unlimited or arbitrary power. The minute he acted in a way not consistent with being a king, he wasn't the king anymore. They obtained the obedience of their people because, what did he say here, guys? Because of their exemplary behavior. Not from force, not strength, exemplary behavior. I'm going to ask you guys, many of you are voting, many of you are getting ready to, I'm going to ask you, are you choosing leaders based on their exemplary behavior, or because they promise you we're going to be tough and we're going to do all this? We're going to send them over there and take care of business? Or are you choosing the guy who is the most virtuous and who has the most exemplary character? All right? Last quote. Here we go. The key to their courage is that the men in their fighting wedge are not chosen at random or by fortune, but they are their family and kinsmen. There you go, guys. This is why our founders said, no standing army. They're terrible. They destroy liberty every time. All we need to stay safe is a militia. This is the key to their courage, said Tacitus. These Germans, they fight with their family. They don't do it by random or by fortune. If you're in a standing army today, if you're in the U.S. Army today, which I grew up in, my dad was in it for 25 years, you don't know how courageous or how virtuous the guy next to you is in battle. That's completely by chance. Whoever gets put into your same unit. But if you're fighting in a militia with your kinsmen, you grew up around this guy. You know his virtue. You know his goodness. You've grown up with him. You are protecting what is yours with your people. That is the key, Tacitus said, to why those Romans couldn't break the Germans. Right? They chose virtuous men. Those men led by example, not by force. They stayed in that wedge and they fought side by side, not with random soldiers, but with their family. All right, guys? Thank you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.